This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers. Hey everyone, I'm your host Dani, and I'm the first-time reader going through this series chapter by chapter. As always, there's no spoilers past the chapter we're covering, and that means it's totally safe for first-time readers. I'm joined by my co-host Brett, who's a longtime fan, and he's guiding me on this journey. We'd like to thank and acknowledge our executive producers, Brandy and Kirkwood, Sean McGuire, Yanis, Albert Lorenzo, LightBlindedFool, Green Man, Deyvis Ferreira, Kristen Jordan, and Margaret. And before we get into things today, we just want to thank and welcome Lyndon Smith and Jimmy G to the Wheel Weaves Patreon team. Thank you so much for your generosity and your support. We really, truly appreciate it. In this episode, we're talking about Chapter 14 of Crossroads of Twilight.
Yeah, just the one chapter. Chapter 14, What Wise Ones Know.
Yeah.
And what is it?
I don't really know. Some weave.
Baby stuff.
Baby weaves.
It's babies. You know, they're, yeah. Maybe not what you thought at first.
Nah, man. I was expecting something interesting.
Well, I mean, this is the good. Everything that you love the most was packed into one exciting chapter.
And what's that exactly?
Reporting from the First Maid, and then reporting from Master Nori.
Any chapter where we have Master Nori coming in hot. Ooh, sign me up.
Yeah, there we go.
Can't wait for that.
Favorite. Here we go. Okay.
We do have some tidbits and stuff we can pull out of here, but...
Yeah. I mean, okay, I explained why this is a separate chapter and why the next one is separate. It's because of the number of pages, because we can't do like 70 pages all in one go.
No.
It's not going to work.
No.
So we're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to talk about one chapter. We're going to make it work.
We're going to, talk about it. We're going to talk about it.
You know what is actually interesting?
What?
This is the chapter where we cross over the halfway mark in the book. We are over halfway done, Crossroads of Twilight.
And we get to the end of the cleansing.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We get to the end of the cleansing from Elaine's perspective.
Oh,
so,
God. Yep.
Okay. Yep.
We are certainly going nowhere real fast.
Yeah, that's true. So, for the fun fact today, this is one that we maybe almost did, but then didn't. But then because you said, hey, maybe do it, we're going to do it.
What is it?
Water wagons.
Oh, it is.
It's
pump trucks,
Yeah,
right?
the return of the pump truck, fire truck.
And you know what? We did, if anybody's wondering, watch The Greatest Showman yesterday.
We did. Yeah, we did.
And guess what they have in that movie?
Pump trucks.
That's right.
Yeah.
When the circus burns down.
There's a fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the old times.
It is the old times then.
Yeah.
And with the fun fact today, we're going to talk about the history of fighting fires.
Yeah.
Just for the record, so everyone knows too, we've already gotten into the gin for tonight.
Well, yeah.
So, okay.
We wanted to make this a party.
Yeah, all right. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start us off a little bit of information on firefighting. So, the history of organized firefighting begins in ancient Rome, like a lot of things do, under the rule of Augustus. And before that, Ctesibius of Alexandria, who is Greek, developed the first fire pump in the 3rd century BCE, and that design was later improved upon by Hero of Alexandria in the 1st century BCE.
Okay.
All right, but here we go.
And when you say fire pump, you mean water pump, because my brain is picturing like a fire pump
that pumps fire.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Water pump, yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about water pump.
Yeah, water pump. Pumps water.
I'm thinking a container of fire, and you pump it, and the hose shoots out fire.
No, not a thing. No, that's not a thing.
Other fire pump, the billower guy.
That pumps air. That blows air, not fire.
Not fire. But that could be a fire pump.
You're thinking like dragon. You squeeze the dragon, and it goes and breathes fire. There you go. Perfect. Anyways, back to it.
Water pump.
I got information here.
Sorry.
In ancient Rome, they would use what's called a bucket brigade, and that is something that is called bucket brigades all the way through history, and pumps. And then in ancient Rome, they would also use poles, hooks, and ballista to tear down buildings in advance of the flames. So literally, let's rip down buildings around the fire so that the fire doesn't spread. Actually a pretty good method if you think about it, because they would have patrols in the streets to watch for fires, and The most notable fire on July 19th of 64 CE eventually destroyed 2/3 of Rome.
Whoa.
So that's a lot of Rome to,
burn down.
It's not good. It's actually like a thing. And specifically London also has had a lot of great fires because up until...
I think I've heard of one of them.
The Great Fire.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, the Great Fire of 1666 burned down about 5 square kilometers, which is about 2 square miles of London, leaving about 10,000 people homeless. And before that, London did not have any organized firefighting system. So, after...
They were reactive and not proactive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually, very true. Because around the 17th century was when the entire world started to get things together on the organized firefighting front of, like, fire engines. Because in the 17th century is when the first fire engine was invented. So before that, you really only had the manual hand pumps, and those didn't have very good range because you're hand pumping. Okay. Or bucket brigade, where you make a lineup of people
and you pass buckets of water,
then throw the water on the fire.
Yeah.
Moderately effective, not really. So the earliest fire engines are called hand tubs.
Sure.
Because you fill the tubs by hand.
Okay.
So anyways.
Inventive.
They're manually powered. The water was supplied by a bucket brigade and then dumped into the tub and then pumped from that onto the fire.
Okay.
So you still need a bucket brigade.
Yeah.
But you just like, hey, let's fill a bigger tub and have some water there.
Yeah.
But then the next important advancement in the 1800s was actually being able to draft water from the water source without a bucket brigade, so you don't need a lineup of people.
Oh, yes.
Now, what's interesting is some cities in the world actually had laws that said you have to have a bucket of water on your doorstep in case there's a fire at night, so the bucket brigade can start immediately.
But it's one bucket of water.
Yeah, so like literally every house has a bucket of water. If there's a fire at your house, everyone around starts passing buckets to your house.
Oh.
So you have an immediate response team. And then you can start, because like if your house burns down, then probably my house burns down.
Oh, yeah.
And then our neighbors. And then 2/3 of Rome is gone.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. But here's the thing that's a little bit similar to what we see in Caemlyn, are the water trucks, the little pump trucks. The earlier engines were small, and they were either carried by 4 people, or they were mounted on skids and dragged to a fire. That was one option. But then as those water wagons got bigger, they became horse-drawn, and then later...
Oh, yeah. Well, in The Greatest Showman, it was horse-drawn.
Horse-drawn because it's too big.
Yeah.
But you would still probably need a bucket brigade to refill that.
Yes.
Yeah. Because it's just not enough
water.
water.
Well, it wasn't just it was the... Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
Go
anyways.
on. Yep.
But then later, then that's when steam engines became being involved, and it's like we can really start moving water.
Well, especially when cars were invented.
Yeah, there's a whole thing too about like the hoses that they would use, but no time for that now because we got to talk about what the wise ones know.
Oh, okay.
But before that, let's talk about some other things.
Well, yeah.
What is Master Nori and Mistress
and Dylan and
Herfer know? Yeah, and Dylan and Brigida and
everybody.
Yeah. What's going on here?
Well, the last time we were here, we were bargaining with the sea folk.
Rebargaining. Can we call it a rebargaining?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're kind of like redoing it.
Yeah, okay. We were rebargaining.
Yeah.
Sort of. Because the initial bargain was a little bit met, like the whole Bowl of the Winds.
Yeah.
Help us use the Bowl of the Winds, and then you get the bowl back, and then also, side note, we want Aes Sedai teachers. And so this was almost like an amendment of sorts.
Yeah, okay.
Where we sort of took terms from the original bargain, like the Aes Sedai teacher thing.
Yeah.
But then we renegotiated some things.
Yeah. Which actually, it's funny because there's a little hook at the end of this chapter about,
the sea folk running around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. Let's
get there.
save that.
Okay. Also, last time we were here, we met some very young high seats of their houses.
That's true.
I almost wrote children high seats, but then I thought you'd be mad at me.
Yeah, I would be.
And you'd
Absolutely.
say they're not children anymore.
I would go so far to say furious.
Well, phew. Good thing I didn't say that.
Good thing. Yeah.
Okay, chapter 14. What the wise ones know.
Yeah, and I'm looking. It's just what wise ones know.
What did I say?
What the wise ones know. Just what wise ones know.
What wise ones know. Okay.
Yeah.
Chapter symbol, the flame of Tarvalin. Mostly because we're using Saidar.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Sure.
Now, we're entering in our Elaine perspective, picking up exactly where we left off last chapter.
Yeah.
And it has been, how many now? 5? 5 Elaine chapters.
Yeah. Yep.
5 Elaine chapters.
Yep.
All within a couple hours.
Yep.
I guess it's more than that. Because right first thing in the morning, we got the beacon was blazing.
Yeah.
Started. We saw where it started. And then I guess here it's ending. And we know that went on for like a good portion of the day.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, she's had a bath.
Yeah.
She argued with some Aes Sedai.
8 to 12 hours?
bargained.
Like, I don't know what you want to say here.
Yeah, okay, but we're in the same day.
Yeah.
Okay, just trying to...
Yeah.
Just sorting it all out, you know?
Timeline-wise, I get it.
Okay, so my very favorite character, Master Nori, and the First Maid Lady.
You don't even know her name.
Oh, Harfor?
Mistress Harfor.
Yeah. So they come in together, and they're here to give Elaine the reports. But, funny little side note, Mistress Harfor doesn't love giving reports in front of
Yeah, Master
Nori.
Neither does Master Nori like giving
They don't
reports
like
in front
it.
of her.
And so, like, why don't we just have 2 different audiences?
Do you really want to go through 2 separate meetings?
I don't.
Yeah,
but Elaine could.
She could. Does she want to? I don't know.
I don't know.
Does it matter?
Kind of. She's pissing these people up.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a little bit.
She's really counting on.
Yeah.
She's really relying on them.
They should work together.
But they don't want to.
No. Not now. Looks like a love connection to me.
No.
No,
Enemies to friends to lovers trope?
Maybe. I could go with a little side plot.
Or just straight to lovers. And then back to like staying enemies. Ooh, give me that side
Do you want
story.
that? You want that side story?
Kind of. They like meet secretly.
Oh, and this is just all a facade.
No. They actually don't like each other.
Oh, okay.
But it's a love affair.
I can't. You know, there are things...
The sexual tension is wild between these two.
Oh my goodness. That's... You know what? That's what I've learned today. Okay. There are actual things we can talk about here,
I'm trying to make this really fun and exciting.
No, it's good, though.
Imagine if there was a hot, steamy love affair happening between these two who clearly don't like each other. Doesn't that make this a little more intense and fun and exciting? Okay, so we're going to go through the things that happen here, and we're going to pretend that they secretly... Love affair.
Love it. Okay, let's go. Because just so you know, if you remember...
Yeah.
During each other's, like, reporting, they don't interact at all with each other.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how the, like, tension builds.
Okay. This chapter is rated 14A.
Okay. Well, Avienda puts up an award against eavesdropping, and we get that she's excellent at this from Elaine's perspective.
Yeah, for sure. And she might be.
Yeah. Okay, sure. And then Mistress Harfor starts by saying that she's convinced that the second librarian...
Which is a title.
...is a spy.
Yeah. Remember, that's what her job has been, is find all the spies.
But can you believe it? This librarian has served in the palace for generations.
Yeah.
And if this person's a spy for the tower, maybe, or somebody else...
Yeah.
Oh, the implications are dire.
It's funny, because when you think about this, all the signs that we get in, like, the next 17 pages of this one description is that he's probably a spy for the Brown Aja.
Yeah.
Which makes sense that the Brown Aja would hire librarians to be spies.
Well...
Not taking a shot at librarians, because I could identify as a Brown Aja.
It continues the trope, for sure.
But yeah, that's who I would think would be a spy for the Brown.
Do you think that the Black Tower is going to create such frivolous Aja factions?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Is that because you've read the series and you know? Or because you, even in an alternate universe, that doesn't make sense?
In an alternate universe, it doesn't even make sense. What I think they'll create is, like, 2 factions, is, like, Taim's guys and everybody else. Because that's already what's kind of happening.
Well, I was thinking more like soldier ranks, because it's just an army.
Yeah, I mean, but you also...
But you need factions even in, like, a military.
Yeah.
You know, these guys who do this and these guys who do this.
Like, I understand. Yeah, okay, I get that. I could go with that. They can't be the same ones, though. They have to be better.
Yeah.
The Aes Sedai factions are just the worst.
I agree. That's why I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Do you think that they'll adopt
You could
such
have a recruiting faction, because what the Black Tower does...
Well, they do. They currently do have a recruiting faction.
Well, they don't have a faction.
But they could.
They could.
They could.
They have recruiting teams.
Yes.
But they're not like a faction.
Dedicated.
Everybody kind of like takes their turns almost.
Oh, dedicated, huh?
Yeah.
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 Uh-huh.
No. I mean, there's a lot of... we could do a lot to improve on the whole faction business within the channeling business.
We should do a bonus episode where we talk about what the factions of the Black Tower should be.
Could be. Oh, yeah. Well, we could do that the same with what the White Tower should be. But...
Oh, I've already done that. It was the first time I tried to guess what the Ajas were.
Gardeners?
And mine were better than the ones that
They're
actually
pretty
exist.
good, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you said blues were secret agents?
Secret agents.
Well, you're not necessarily wrong with that
Yeah.
either. It's like pretty close.
Yeah.
Actually, that was like pretty close. So...
That might be the only one that was close.
I think so.
No, I think I said yellows were like some kind of healers. I think
I
I
don't
picked
know
that
that
up.
you said that.
Oh,
Did you say that?
I think I did. I
Maybe.
can get up my notebook.
No, back to the chapter. Back. Okay. Anyways, there's spies in the tower.
Oh, yeah.
And one is a librarian.
Okay. All right.
There's a whole thing because he
It's a
goes
whole
away.
thing. And also, Mistress Harfor even knows about the sisters who are at different inns in the city.
Yeah, visiting, right? And they visited where he was. It's a whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
All to come back for the
Plus,
fact that it's
pigeons
Branagh.
are flying north and stuff.
That's where the tower is.
Yeah, and I want to just be like, we know that the tower does have eyes and ears everywhere.
Yeah.
And obviously there are some... It doesn't mean he's, like, nefarious in any way.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. Elaine does have some thoughts like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. And when it was Morgaze and Elida, like, it didn't really matter as much. This matters more. Like, what's happening in Caemlyn matters more if it's actually being sent to the tower.
And I guess so, but also are we... Like, this guy clearly isn't a new spy for the tower. It's just, like, the same spy. He's been doing the reporting for years, and it's probably not even, honestly... It's like, in my eyes, having a spy like this is almost having, like, a newspaper. Hey, what's the news from Caemlyn? What's going on?
Yeah.
What's the second librarian? He's not even the first librarian. Yeah. What's the second librarian going to know?
Well, maybe he might hear gossip from, like, the maids and stuff.
That's what I'm saying. It's like a friggin'... it's like a newspaper.
It's a tabloid.
It's a tabloid.
Yeah. Yeah, either that or super nefarious.
True, okay.
One or the other.
Yep.
Now, Dylan speaks up because the list of spies is getting super long. Hairdressers, footmen, cooks, everybody. Everybody. Plus, some of Nori's clerks.
At least 5.
At least 5.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. And he is not impressed with that.
No.
Now, Mistress Harford does think that she's getting close to the end of the spies, but Elaine knows that it's expected that the White Tower's a bunch of spies everywhere. And so Elaine doesn't have any false stories that she wants to feed to the Brown Aja right now, off the top of her head. So, she just tells the first mate to keep an eye on him for now.
Yeah, I like this too
and see
because
if he has other connections.
Avienda snorting in the background too, because her opinion is let's just kill all the spies and get them out of here. But again, remember the orders: let the spies be here, do things as long as we know who they are. Right? We don't want to get rid of them because then new ones are just going to replace them.
We won't know who those are.
Exactly.
And maybe this guy just has like some family or something that some Aes Sedai are like helping him stay connected to. Like maybe it's like literally his family or something. Like it's definitely not, but let's pretend for a second that some of these spies actually aren't spies.
Yeah.
And like we're just going to like murder them because they wanted to send pigeons to their families or something.
Yeah, I mean,
don't know.
you could be wrong about this too. Yeah. I mean, Elaine does have the side thought that also, like most of these spies, they're not for enemies specifically. They're just to like people who are trying to stay in the know about what's going on.
Realistically, Elida at the tower, enemy, right?
I mean, that's
enemy of Egwene.
Yeah, I mean that's the issue. That's the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enemy. But also potential dark friends.
Yeah, that too. You don't know.
Enemies.
You don't know.
Yeah.
And you can't just go pointing that finger all willy-nilly.
Well,
you can't just accuse people.
But as long as we're not just like killing everybody, Avienda.
Yeah, we can't do it Avienda's way.
No. Now, Elaine is curious if any Black Tower spies have been found, but no, not yet.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing too.
They're mostly just keeping to themselves right now. Like, I don't know. you know?
Like, maybe. Also, maybe. We don't know. We don't know. And also, maybe the Black Tower has, like, Ashaman in the city, in disguise, and doing their own, like, listening weaves. It's Saidin, you can't tell.
Yeah, exactly.
There's 100 different ways this could go down, and not just, like, paying spies.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like,
that's true. But also, what could be going on in the palace in Caemlyn that the Black Tower even remotely cares about?
Yeah, it, like, doesn't matter.
There's nothing happening here that they give a crap about, I think.
No, the only thing that they really want to focus on, from what we see, is, like, recruiting and, like, building.
No, they wanted to keep Elaine out of there.
Yeah.
They're like, go away.
Yeah.
Okay, but now we have to talk about some spy for Arimilla.
Yeah, so this guy we got introduced to last book, chapter 26, is John Skillet.
John Skeleton.
Skeleton. I think of Skillet like a...
I think of Skeleton.
You know, that's spookier.
Because he's a spooky spy.
Oh, I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was discovered to be a spy, basically, for Arimilla, and Mistress Harfor is not supposed to be interacting with any of the spies. She's just supposed to find them out and report back.
But this one, she had a word with.
Yeah, and I do want to see what your opinion on this is. Because it's kind of weird.
Well, Dylan and Brigida don't like it.
Yeah, there's some cursing.
My opinion is, like, maybe she shouldn't be doing it. Because I trust Dylan and Brigida probably most in this room.
Yeah, so, like, if you picked up on the whole, like, what's going on. So, Skillet reports to two guys who carry messages back to Arimilla's camp. So, he's not the actual one who brings the messages. However, both those guys are, like, they had accidents. They don't seem like in quotations, accidents necessarily. It's not, like, nefarious necessarily.
I don't know. I think the word accident is just inherently nefarious at this point.
It's not great. So, like, now Skillet is supposed to actually go and bring the news to Arimilla. So Mistress Harfor steps in, and she's trying to flip
we're going to pay him.
Yeah, flip him into a double agent so we can get information on Arimilla's camp.
But then Dylan says, what if he flips into a triple agent?
Exactly. And then triple crossing. It's crazy. And then the answer is, no, he won't. Because he'll be murdered.
Yeah, someone's going to find out somewhere. Yeah.
Like, I guess so. Maybe turn him into a quadruple agent.
Yeah, I think if anybody knows more than anything here, it'd be Dylan. Like, if it were Avienda being like, no, he'll just flip around no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, who doesn't know anything about the politics or anything that's happening in Andor? But when Dylan's like, no, probably this is what's going to happen, I just trust that she knows.
I agree, too. And it's like, why is Mistress Harfor taking this step to not even talk to anybody else about doing this and then does it?
I have your answer. Secret love affair.
With Nori.
Of course. No, with Skeleton.
Whoa. Okay.
She's having several.
Yeah. Secret love affairs.
Maybe Nori is upset.
Yeah.
Because he figured it out about the Skeleton love affair.
Good.
Oh my gosh. The tangled web that we weave. These are the days of our lives, right?
I think that's what they say.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's the end of that point because Elaine's like, hey, if he can actually bring back information on like where the leaders of the camps are sleeping, then sure. Like I'll pay him. I'll pay him for the information, but that's all I'm going to pay him for. Mm-hmm. So, anyways, that's it. That's the end of hers.
That's the plan.
Yep. Now it's on to the really good stuff, which is Master Nori.
Ah, goodness. So he's a bit salty that Brigida already told Elaine about the merchant trains showing up.
That was his news to tell.
His news, and she just like offhandedly said it during the bath.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no build-up or anything.
Nothing. And Elaine mentions that some of the sea folk are going to be leaving, so we actually are going to only have half the number of people who can make gateways after today.
And it's good that Nori doesn't react too strongly to that. He's like, we can make it work.
Right.
So Elaine should be okay.
Okay. All right. Then we get that there have been a lot of arsons happening. Arsons, plural, is that how you say that?
Arsons?
There have been arsons.
Yeah, I think so.
There has been arsonry.
Ooh, okay.
Is that a word?
I don't think so.
Is arsonry? It should be.
That would be like
the act of? Of being an arson?
Yeah, I don't think that's a word.
Of arsoning.
There's arsons.
The act of arsoning. I like arsonry.
Okay. You know what? Whatever you want.
That's what I want.
Okay, arsonry.
They start fires.
A bunch of them.
Bunch of fires.
Yeah.
And it seems intentional. Like they're at certain places, directing people away from somewhere else that another one's going to start.
Yeah. So basically, it seems directed because there were 9 arson attempts. Well, they weren't attempts because they did actually light like 17 buildings on fire. Far away and far enough away that the water wagons would be as far away as possible from the food supplies. And there were 3 attempts on the food supply warehouses. They were not successful. But I will draw attention to the fact that if you remember, back when Caemlyn was in civil unrest, what was the first thing that got lit on fire? Tom Maryland, in Caemlyn, when they were there, it's like, boom, there's a fire happening. What's on fire? The food supplies.
The food supplies.
That's what you do when you want to start a riot and civil war in the city. You light the food on fire.
Oh, and that's what happened in Abu Dar.
Yeah.
That's what they were going to start.
Light it up. Light the food.
The food supply.
You know that food you like eating so much? Gone.
Oh.
It's fire now. Yep.
Got it. Okay. I was just looking up arsonry.
Is it a word?
I mean, it definitely comes up that it's a word.
Does it mean what you think it means?
However, like it's a valid English word in Scrabble.
Okay. Ugh, that
that
doesn't
matters.
Count. That doesn't count. I hate Scrabble rules.
Because it basically just says...
It's garbage.
Arsonry is rare, and now it's just arson. That's basically what it says. The act or crime of willfully, wrongfully, and unjustifiably setting property on fire, often for the purpose of committing fraud.
Okay.
And you can be an arsonist.
Yeah.
That's somebody who sets the fire.
Yeah.
But now, I would say that even though this is willful and wrong, I would not say that it's unjustified.
I mean, yeah, it depends on the view, I guess.
Because if these are people setting fires probably from, like, Ari Milla's camps...
Sure,
maybe hypothetically, like, if you're sieging a place and you want the food stores to go away... Yeah. Then it's justified.
Sure.
On their end.
Yeah, I get it. Like, justification in itself is a pretty loosely defined word.
Yeah,
because, like,
unjustifiable.
who's justifying it?
That's funny in that definition there. But
here's a hint, though. Literally, everyone's actions ever are always justified to them. I can't picture a time when someone does something ever.
Consult the lawyers.
It doesn't matter. It's always justified in their own brains.
I want to know.
It's always justified.
I want to know within the law, what does that word mean?
The reason why people do things is because they justify it to themselves.
Doesn't it have to be within what a reasonable person would do or something like that?
Not in this courtroom.
Oh, well, good thing you're not a judge.
Good thing you're not a judge.
What?
You're the Miss Let's kill everybody.
Well, in here, yeah.
Yeah, okay, anyways.
Not the real world.
I don't know that. Maybe. You've never had a taste of power like that. Who knows?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I feel like I know. Like, who knows? I do. We know.
I can't tell.
Oh, goodness.
Something about, mens rea or whatever. I know that word from Legally Blonde.
Legally Blonde, I was going to say.
I did not study to become a lawyer, but I have watched Legally Blonde. So.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I changed my mind. I picked the dangerous one.
Yeah.
Okay, and on that note, let's take a quick break.
Sure.
And then we can come on back and figure out where we are in this chapter. Okay, here we are. We're back.
Yep. Have you had time to think on who's setting the fires or who's planning?
I thought you were going to say bend and snap works every time.
I was, but I didn't think I could pull it off. So, yeah.
That's fair.
Okay. Who's setting the fires? Who's organizing this?
Ooh, well, I think without thinking about it too hard, I'm going with probably enemies.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Well, are you thinking like Ari Milla camp enemies?
Yeah.
Or are you thinking like dark friendery?
No, I'm thinking, well, I already kind of said it, right? I think probably Ari Milla's camp makes the most sense. They're besieging Caemlyn currently.
Yeah.
They've probably just found out via spies that food is still coming in. And so it makes sense that they want to make it harder for them.
Okay.
Get the food supplies.
I get it.
Or Aes Sedai, who are all coming and going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Up to something.
I feel like you've completely forgotten like the last chapters we just talked about.
Oh, what?
Well, we have Malar, who's just causing a whole bunch of shit. He's literally a dark friend.
Yeah,
who's like pretty high ranking.
No,
The
this
not a him
is not
thing?
dark friendery.
Okay. No,
No.
you know, that's good. I like it. I feel like Dark Friends would honestly
Dark
be more
Friendery
competent almost. Like,
Well, dark friendery is more evil.
yeah.
Like, this doesn't feel like, haha, murder everybody.
Yeah, it seems like Ari Miller wants to win the
This feels
throne. Yeah.
strategic?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. You know what? I'm okay with that. I like it.
Okay. Anyway, get out the water wagons because of all the fires.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
Okay. Now, Brigitte says she can put extra guards around to help with this issue.
Yeah, but
there's not much they can do.
Yeah, not going to work that well.
Since fires are easy to start and hard to put out.
Yes.
And literally anybody could be doing this.
Literally
Just
anyone.
like literally a rogue group of townsfolk.
Someone could pay someone to light something on fire.
Or somebody might just like starting fires for fun.
Maybe.
Start a little arson group,
There you
arson
go.
club, just like literally for fun.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever thought of that?
I did.
That could happen.
Yeah. No, that
I
was
wish
my
it
first
wouldn't.
thought.
I wish it wouldn't, but like maybe this isn't some grand scheme and plan. It just looks that way.
Maybe.
Okay, so Nori has some more information.
Yeah.
Some houses, 3 of them.
Okay, this is the funny thing, because those are the last names of the 3 who are... So, Arimilla, Elenia, and Nan. Those are their 3 last names.
Oh, how am I ever supposed to know that?
Just memorize their last names and their first names and their affiliations, and it's easy. That's it. That's all you have to do.
Marnie, Arwen, and Serenid.
Yep, good job. You did it. You nailed all 3 of those. So, Arimilla, Elenia, and Nan, those are the 3, and they're all... the 2 are following Arimilla.
Yeah.
Because they got kidnapped by her,
who
basically.
knows if they're actually following?
Well, they got kidnapped, so they kind of have to.
Yeah.
So those are the 3, the enemies who are sieging Caemlyn.
Well, they've all taken out very large loans against their estate revenue.
Yeah.
Which feels very boring and feels like I really don't care.
Okay, no, but it's actually...
Okay, can you tell me just the gist?
Sure.
Just the outer shell.
Yep.
Gist.
This is...
Of
okay.
why I should care.
Why do you care?
But, like, don't go into any details that are boring.
Okay, I won't. Okay.
Okay.
Roughly 50% of all the soldiers that Elaine has are mercenaries.
Okay. She's paying them.
She's paying a whole bunch of 50% of her entire force is mercenaries. It seems like Arimilla and company took out a whole bunch of loans to get money, and it seems like they're going to try to buy the mercenaries out from underneath Elaine.
Okay, we don't know that, though. That's just an assumption.
It's a pretty good assumption.
Okay.
Because mercenaries can switch allegiances for more money.
Yes.
Because that's what mercenaries do.
Okay.
Dylan and Brigitte are a little bit worried about this, because it's like, hey, what happens if 50% of the forces that are inside the city suddenly turn against us, or hijack a gate, or whatever? That would be bad. We lose immediately, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the other situation is that it doesn't seem like the bankers who are loaning the money to Arimilla know that they're doubling and tripling down and borrowing against their same revenue. So, it's possible that Arimilla taking out so much money in loans means the bankers who want their money back are going to want Arimilla on the throne instead of Elaine, because if Arimilla wins, then she can empty Caemlyn's coffers, like all the palace money. She can take that to pay the bankers back.
I see.
Elaine, if Elaine beats Arimilla, she's going to say, shove it, bankers, right?
Yeah, well, and shove it Arimilla, this isn't
And shove
my
it,
problem.
It's not my loan. I didn't take out that money. You deal with it. So the bankers might try to back Arimilla. The mercenaries might turn on Elaine, and Elaine might be effed. So
Okay.
it's a lot of like, that's how the money works.
Okay. Okay. And there's a lot of description about how the bankers won't talk, but we sort of don't know. And
Well, there's a side plot, because like Nori technically shouldn't even know this information, but he's got connections, but bankers don't talk to anybody, including each other, and Arimilla's just like, taking out loans, which sounds bad for Arimilla.
Well, you know what I was
but it's
actually
only bad if
thinking
she
it is?
loses, yeah.
Well, I was thinking it might be like they're really doing poorly outside these walls, and maybe they're trying to like
Yeah.
buy food and, like, stay afloat
And
out there.
they might be, but the issue is the bankers might want to put Arimilla on the throne so they get their money back.
Right.
Because if Arimilla loses, then she defaults on the loans, and then the bankers are the ones who are fucked. So they might want to get Arimilla on the throne instead of Lane so that they get their money back. That's what's happening.
Unless they're charging interest, and then they can just be like, you can pay us back minimum payments for the rest of your life.
Exactly, and your house is
Oh, no,
forever.
wait, that's just pigs nowadays.
That's nowadays. That's today. That's what it works now, yeah. It's going to take you 17,000 years.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Anyways, after all of this, Harper and Nori, they leave.
Yeah.
Probably to go sort out all of that sexual tension.
Oh my goodness.
In the first maid's
What?
chambers.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The
It's
linen
good.
closet.
The apartments? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know where they're gonna go. Somewhere exciting, probably.
fine. All right.
Okay. Now, once they're gone, Avienda keeps the words up and says, ooh, someone tried to listen.
Ooh.
Someone tried to break down my ward and it didn't work, but I
Yeah.
noticed.
Yeah.
And Elaine is like, oh my god, it was a Black Aja sister! Or maybe just a kinswoman who's curious.
Maybe.
And then Dylan's like, the damn sea folk. I don't
Yeah.
trust them.
It's like, that actually sounds more accurate
Yeah.
for a lot of it.
And
It's like, I don't trust her or the Windfinders, so yeah.
okay, but we also have more things to discuss. More information
Yeah.
to hear.
Yeah.
So Brigida has a map that she's going to pull out.
Folded up.
She's going to
shoved in her
unfold
coat,
it.
yeah.
And she's going to talk about how the Borderlanders are moving. And now this kind of matters.
Yeah.
Especially considering now that Rand isn't to the south.
Yeah.
But it feels like the Borderlanders are moving super, super slowly.
It hasn't been very long in their
Couple
defense.
weeks, right? Or something? Maybe not
like,
even?
Maybe, yeah. Like, it really hasn't been that much time. The tension of the scene
'Cause
seems
wait.
like, should be something more important, but it's like,
It's not.
it's not.
Now, we got word of the armies on their way to Caemlyn
Yeah.
when Elaine got back from the Borderlander meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how long have the armies been here besieging?
Yeah. So here's the thing. Long enough that the Borderlanders have started moving, but all the rumors about them moving is that they're not moving, and they're just hunkered down for the winter.
I see.
And it's going to take a month
to
for
even
them
get to Caemlyn.
to get to Caemlyn or get close. So that's kind of the issue too, is they're really not moving fast enough for it to matter.
Yeah, I think my brain forgot that they traveled
Yeah.
to meet them,
Yeah.
right? So they're far away.
Yeah.
Far enough.
Far enough that it doesn't really matter, and that's the problem. And Elaine kind of thinks about that because they are far away, but all she really needs is the rumors of them moving towards Caemlyn for it to help her. She doesn't need them to get to Caemlyn. She
Right.
just needs the threat of the Borderlanders because there's 200,000 of them versus Arimilla's 20,000.
Ooh, yeah, okay.
There is so many more Borderlanders than any
Now,
and/or forces right now.
this is annoying to me because if Elaine wants to use the threat of the Borderlanders
Yeah.
to scare Arimilla or whatever, but she won't actually use their army
Yeah.
to help her in any way,
Yeah.
like, that's annoying.
Can we use the threat of, like, the Aiel?
The Aiel and Davram's army are literally sitting on the crest looking at them right now.
Yeah.
Literally, in this
Yeah.
moment, that's happening.
Yeah.
But we're not going to use the threat of them. We're not even like.
I mean,
you want the rumors,
Yeah.
but you don't want to actually utilize them. And now we have had some comments coming to Elaine's defense in wanting to defend Caemlyn with Andor only troops, like only Andoran armies to support herself, so that she has this, level of credibility.
Yeah.
And kind of to a point, I understand it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you got use what's at your disposal.
Fun fact, all those comments are just me using different usernames.
It's
and
you.
saying, Danny,
No.
come on. But also, so the Borderlanders
It's not that.
using the Aiel and Davram Bashir would be saying, hey, these are my allies. She's using the Borderlands saying as, ooh, we don't know what they're doing, but I'll defend you.
Oh, that's
It's
okay.
it's a different take.
It feels different.
Different take.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
Yeah, and that's why their entire conversation after this is like, okay, maybe we can just start planting rumors that they're coming. But they also want some organic rumors coming in, so because that's going to help too.
Yeah. Now, Elaine asks about the 6 houses who still haven't committed either for her or Arimilla, like they haven't gone one way or another.
Yeah.
And at this point, I don't care about them very much.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much I should care.
There's a couple of things that I want to point out. So the best way to think of this is in 2 different groups of 3 houses each.
Okay.
Kind of on one side, we've got Lord Lewin, and he's the guy, the rumors of the gate thing
goodness.
with Malar.
Well, it sounds like that guy's a dark friend.
Well, no, if anything, it's just Mellor, like the Lord Lewin stuff, like we don't know.
Or they're actually connected and he's a dark friend.
Okay, maybe. So we got Lord Lewin, and then we got like Lady Alorine and Lord Abel.
Who cares?
And both of those 2 have seemingly vanished right now, which is not necessarily good. But they are people who have supported Elaine and House Trakand in the past, because Alorine is the one who Elaine is actually named after her grandma. So so that's like the one side that we have. The other 3 houses are Arethel, Pelivar, Caemlyn, and those are the 3 who are blockading Egwene.
Right.
Yeah.
They're on their way back
They're on their way back now.
Because, you know what we didn't talk about? I think it was last chapter or the chapter before that. We did get a note that Egwene has been at Tarvalon for a week.
Yeah.
We did get that note and timestamp, and we never talked about it.
Yeah.
And so that means Egwene has vanished from her place where they were kind of guarding.
And that's why they're like 4 to 5 days like on their way back now.
Yes. Okay.
And we don't know if...
like where they stand.
Yeah, we don't know if they're actually heading to Caemlyn right now, or if they're on their way just like back to their own houses. And part of the subplot of this chapter is saying, hey, if they do come towards Caemlyn, then that probably means that they hope that the other 3 are going to join up with them. So if the 3 that were blocking Egwene come to Caemlyn, that means the other 3, that the Lewin, Alorine, Abel, they're going to form their own little faction of 6 houses. And that's a very bad situation, because the last thing Elaine wants is a 3-way standoff for the throne, where it's Elaine in Caemlyn.
Yeah.
There's
She thinks about how the last time there was a 3-way standoff for a crown, it lasted 7 years, and the original claimants all ended up dead.
Yeah, we don't got time for that.
No.
And we don't want Elaine dead, mostly. Okay. So we don't want a 3-way war. We just want those 6 houses to come on over to Elaine's side.
Yeah.
But that's what's happening here. So we don't know where anybody stands, but we might know in a few days.
Okay. Whatever.
Yeah.
So this conversation is interrupted by a guard coming in because the wise one, Monaela...
Yeah, I always want to say it Monaila.
Monaila. That would sound better than how they say it. Monaela.
Monaela?
Yeah.
Monella?
Monella.
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 She's Italian.
No. Oh. Okay.
Makes sense. Okay.
All right. Well, she wants to see Elaine, and it's important. So Brigida scoops up the map, and she comes right on in. And it's clear that this is probably who tried to listen in. Or break the eavesdropping weave, I think.
Really?
Well, that's what I thought.
Why?
I don't know. She's just nosy.
Well, we know her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She probably just wanted to figure out when she could come in.
Okay. I mean, that's a very innocent take on it.
Because it's like as soon as it dropped, they were like, okay, she can come in. And then they hustle everybody out. And they're like, it's very important that we check the baby immediately.
Okay. You know what? If that's what you want to go with, like, yeah, sure. I'm not gonna
why are you saying it like that?
No, I mean, it's like, that's fine. It's good.
I really don't think it's anything we actually have to care about. Unless it's something we have to care about.
You don't have to care about it until you have to care about it.
Okay, well, right now, I definitely don't.
And that's fine. So she's the one who did the ceremony for the first sister thing. So we know her.
Great.
Yeah.
Right. And she's Elaine's midwife, checking on her and the baby.
Yeah. And she's also super salty that Avienda is wearing a bunch of velvets.
Oh, yeah. And then they have to have a whole conversation.
The whole thing.
About how it's okay. However, now Avienda is going to have to start spending every third night in the Aiel tents so she doesn't forget where she came from.
Right. And I mean, that's fair.
And that makes Elaine sad.
Well, it's funny because they don't want to spend nights away from each other now because they're so used to sleeping next to each other, which, makes sense. But Avienda has had this whole thing of getting soft in the wetlands in the back of her mind for books now, I feel.
For a while, yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's a long time coming, so.
Yeah.
But all that gets said after everybody leaves except for them.
Okay,
So,
that's true. Okay, now, Sumiko, the kinswoman, Sumiko, the kinswoman, who is also really good at healing.
Yeah, better than Nynaeve now.
We
get that, yeah.
She comes in because she's learning the whole midwifery business.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so what happens next, I think, can be wrapped up relatively quickly, actually.
Okay.
Because, all in all, we get that Monaella is going to do some strange weave that's kind of like delving.
Okay. Well, a lot of people are going to push back on you because it's got a name, and it's not kind of like delving. It's a lot different than delving.
Well, specifically, Elaine thinks, is this like delving?
Yeah.
And so it's along the same lines, but no.
It's not
delving
it's
like
so
the
much
baby
better.
and the mother.
It's like crazy amounts of different and better.
Uh-huh.
Way better.
Sure.
Delving is just like a, hey, what's wrong with you? And this is like a very specific, known to the Aiel for literally generations back to before they came to the Threefold Land.
Yeah.
And it's called Caressing the Child. And you can learn the health of the mother, the child. You can also do some healing, it seems.
Yes, cure some problems of either.
And it specifically doesn't work on someone who's not pregnant or if you're a man. So, yeah.
Okay.
Pretty good doctoring stuff.
Yeah, but while this is happening, Elaine feels the feels of what's going on.
Well, it's also...
She's, like, basically vibrating,
it's
but
pretty
that's
funny.
okay.
It's pretty funny because this entire situation, too, is like when you go into the doctor's appointment and the doctor's like, hey, I have a student with me. Are you okay if they come in with me? And then it's like, yeah, sure, I guess so. And then the student comes in.
And then you're like, I really wish that didn't happen.
Because then the student starts doing all these things and then a bunch of other students pile in behind. It's like, yeah, let's all do this together. It's fun.
Okay, now you try.
Now you try. Now it's your turn. It's your turn. It's like, I didn't want all this.
Never mind. I actually changed my mind. This is very specifically my OB had a resident with him the entire time I was pregnant, almost at every single appointment, and it took twice as long as it ever needed to. And I'm all for medical education.
Me too,
That's super cool, but I'm also cool sometimes when my medical appointments don't run double the length of time that they need to.
Yeah, well, and it happened to me with my knee surgery, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then they asked me when they were doing the epidural, and they're like, hey, we got a student. Are you okay if the student does it?
No. You should have said no.
Should have said no, but, oh, man, they missed a bunch of times, and it paid for it later. Ooh. Yikes. Anyways.
Yikes.
So that's Sumiko, and that's Avienda. She
doesn't get to... They try. They all try.
Yeah, Avienda doesn't get to, because, like, another sidebar, they get interrupted.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah,
but chronologically speaking, we'll get to that.
Student doctors and stuff, it's good.
Yeah, good. Great.
Just
Love it.
Just not to me.
Just not all the time. Just not all the time.
Not all the time.
All the time, specifically to me. Because I get it. Doctors need to learn.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a double-edged sword, I tell you. It's a hard... It's tricky.
It's challenging. Now.
Oh, also, just for the record, so Monaella, knows who the real father is.
Oh, yes.
She knows it's Rand. She knows that it's not Doyle and Mellar. Right. Sumiko does not know that.
Does not know. Yeah. And make some, like, passive comment about it.
Passive-aggressive comment. There is, because we get a whole bunch of other information when Elaine asks some questions.
Right. So she does take the opportunity to ask, will it hurt my child if I channel while I'm pregnant? And Monaella's like, nope, you're fine.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other stuff about how being pregnant really sucks. And they're like, how do you know that? And she's like, because I've literally had babies.
I've had 7 children, I know.
Yeah.
It's actually a pretty funny exchange.
Yes.
And in this moment, she also tells Elaine, you have 2 babies.
Twins, but we don't know genders just yet.
Yes, we don't know that yet because this Caressing the Child weave can't tell that it's too early
But Elaine hopes it's not 2 girls because that would complicate the succession.
Yeah, and like, Elaine... Focus on you getting the throne first before you have to worry about your daughter. And maybe it's like a house succession, but that nobody cares about that.
Yes.
We only care about the throne of Andor, so come on.
Yes.
Anyways. Yeah, and also, we learned that if you can channel, you don't get birthing sickness.
Ah.
Or I guess, like, is that morning sickness?
Yes,
what
that'd
the
be
birthing sickness is?
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's good.
Okay, now we get to the point where Avienda is about to try this weave, and suddenly all of the women turn and stare towards the west.
Boom!
Because the beacon that's been burning for so long has just vanished.
Oh my goodness.
And now Sumiko breaks the silence and she says, I think something very wonderful or very terrible has just happened today. And Elaine says, wonderful. Mostly because she knows Rand is still alive, and that's wonderful enough.
Yeah, and that's actually probably a good interpretation, because she did feel, and Avienda felt, that Rand was definitely probably in the middle of this entire thing, and if he's still alive at the end of it, that's probably a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pretty good rationale.
Okay. Now, they get interrupted again by a guard at the door, because turns out all the sea folk are still here, and they're in this frenzy.
Yeah.
Because one of their apprentices has gone missing.
Oh, I love it so much. This is such a funny, like, little side tangent here, too. It's good.
Okay, tell us the story. What's happening?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so a guard saw Marililla leaving the palace about 3 hours ago with a woman who was cloaked and hooded, but it was definitely a sea folk because of the tattooed hands. And Elaine picks up on pretty quick what probably happened, because there were 2 sea folk apprentices, and we know that Talaan...
I was going to say, that was
we know it.
For sure. She's the one who wanted to leave. She's the, like, basically begged Nynaeve
in the hallway.
Yes.
After the terrible Essing.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was like, hey, because she's never going to be chosen to go to the tower.
Yeah.
And she wants to go to the tower, but she's too strong to go to the tower. Sea folk only send the weak ones.
Yes. And she's in this long lineage of powerful people within the sea folk, which means she's treated like shit.
Because nepotism is not allowed.
Right.
It's not allowed. So it's like she's never going to get anything. Yeah. And it sucks.
Yes. That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. So Marililla definitely took Talaan.
Well, and it's possible. Was the bargaining, like, was that 3 hours ago now at this point?
Yeah, there was, like, Marililla
would
should
she
know.
have just been told that she's going with the sea folk?
And, like, the only one, basically.
Yeah.
And Marililla tapped out. And Elaine figures this out, that she could probably convince herself that getting this very strong sea folk apprentice to the tower to become a novice, that's a good enough reason to evade her duty of going with the sea folk.
To teach the Windfinders.
And, like, uphold her.
Was Marililla always for the tower? Or no? Because she was the one in Abu Dar.
She was Rebel Camp.
But she was Rebel Camp, wasn't she? So...
Yeah, she was like the first one. But at this point, does it matter? Marililla can take an eternity to get back to the tower.
Yeah.
And that will be better than being a teacher for the sea folk for a year.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, like, literally just her leaving, it's cool.
Yeah.
I'll take my time, man.
I think it's funny. Yeah, it's fine.
She's going to live for, like, 250 years. Like, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll wait this one out.
Well, okay. So, that's probably bad news for Elaine, though.
It's not great.
Because she's going to have to deal with those repercussions.
Yeah.
And Elaine asks if the word is out yet. It's not official, but the word definitely will spread.
Yeah.
And so she excuses herself from the appointment with the midwife.
Yeah.
And she starts the orders to have the gates checked and the city inns searched just in case Marililla didn't actually make it out of the city yet.
Yeah.
And off she goes to deal with the angry ass sea folk.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny too, because she has the offhanded thought like, oh, maybe Marililla thought it's too late in the day to leave. I'll leave tomorrow.
No.
She's gone.
Escaping.
She's not pulling a Matt where it's like, I'm going to hang out.
And do we think that Talalan is one of the ones who can make a gateway?
I mean, we don't know. We don't know that. I don't think we've ever seen an apprentice like sea folk making a gateway.
No.
Like hypothetically.
But if we know the weaves and she's that strong,
we could bounce out of here real quick.
Because Marililla can't do it herself, but she might understand kind of how.
Yeah.
They might bounce out.
Yeah.
You know?
Even so, it's just like getting the heck out of Dodge.
I hope they get out.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't want Marililla stuck teaching the sea folk, and I don't want Talalan to have a terrible life that she doesn't want to have.
Which is fair. Like, I totally understand.
You know, Elaine, I guess, is going to have to deal with the sea folk. Yeah,
but the sea folk also, they have to leave.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Because Zaida, she needs to go, so she can't even stick around.
Well, maybe this is how she doesn't get
the
position.
Never know.
If she hangs around too long.
Yeah.
Isn't the other one destined to do it?
Yeah, not her.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hurrying, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe this is the reason she doesn't get it, because she has to stay here dealing with this shit.
Yeah. And does she really? She doesn't really.
Well, it's kind of part of the bargain and stuff, right? So it's like, what's more important to you?
Yeah. We're getting into like a bunch of hypothetical murky waters here.
Yikes. Okay. Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
Here we go. We did it. We made it through. That was fun. I was fine with that.
That's pretty good. Gin. Just like have a couple, you're good.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So next episode, we're only doing chapter 15 because it's almost 40 pages.
Okay.
So we got to do
take
one
your
more.
Word for it.
And then we're back to Devils for a bit.
Okay. That sounds good.
Yeah.
So now, before you go ahead and make your own headcanon about a crazy secret affair, I'm going to say that this is part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
Well, that's the end of another fun episode. Thanks so much for joining in and listening, everyone. The Wheel Weaves is hosted by Dani and Brett, edited by Dani and Brett, produced by Dani and Brett, with Passion Socks, Cody Fouts, Benjamin, Michelle O'Brien, Jonathan Reese, Jamie Young, Megan Smiley, Jared Berg, Ricky Morissette, Lance Barden, Charlie Haz, Adam, Hannah Green, and Marta Thier. With music by Audionautics. Be sure to check out our Patreon page if you are interested in supporting us and the podcast. We'd love to send you some Patreon exclusive merchandise as a thank you, plus you'll gain access to our episodes earlier than everyone else. And at the time of recording, we have over 40 bonus episodes for your listening pleasure. You can find all that and more at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. For general information about our show, and information like how to send us shot glasses, how to join our Discord, how to get in touch with us, you can visit thewheelweavespodcast.com. And as always, be sure to give us a 5-star review because it really does make a really big difference in helping other people find us. And tell a friend, Riyadh, because referrals really are the best compliment. Thanks again for listening. This really is part of the pattern now.